Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for The Walking Dead Dead City. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another ranking video. This one is going to be doing all the episodes, ranking them from worst to best. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a video today. This one's going to be doing a video for The Walking Dead Dead City. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another ranking video. We're going to go through all 6 of the episodes of the first season of Dead City and rank them from worst to best. So, of course, now that season 1 of Dead City is over, we're doing a few of these ranking videos. We're going to go through the episodes and the season. The next discussion topic I have for Dead City is a overall season review, so we'll probably do that as well later this week. And I do want to do a Q&A video after the finale as well, which we're also going to do this week. So, got a lot of videos coming up this week for Dead City, a lot of videos kind of reflecting on it and stuff like that, but wanted to really take time, take a few days at least, to sit down, really think about these episodes, think about what are my favorites, what are my least favorites. Now, I'm going to kind of inform you on something a little bit in this video, guys, and I'm not even kidding. Every single one of these episodes for me are 10 out of 10s, and I know that might surprise some people. I know some people might say, like, Dan, you really don't have any issues with this season? No, I really don't. I know that might surprise people. I know that might be a little out there. I've sat on the season. I legitimately do not have a single issue with this show. I really, really don't. So even the worst episode is a 10 out of 10. So keep that in mind. Even the one that is my least favorite, I still freaking love. So it really is hard to do like worst to best, because it really should just be like best to even better. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, this season's awesome. What can I say? But starting off with number 6, if I had to pick my least favorite episode of this season, if I had to pick the episode that has the most flaws and the most issues, this is what I would say. And again, I don't really think there's really any issues with this show, but if I had to pick one, number 6, I'm going to go with episode 5. So episode 5, I know for some people is probably people's favorite, and to be honest, when I first saw it, it was one of my favorites as well, but I will say as time goes on and as I sit on it, it is my least favorite. Now, I absolutely love the episode either way. I mean, I love the boss fight that Maggie had with that zombie, that crazy, like, mutated zombie or whatever. I love seeing, Negan and Armstrong's, kind of bond start to develop a little bit, and we kind of see a good dynamic between them. We had a lot of really amazing callbacks, like, do not open dead outside, and some cool, season 1 references in that episode that I found to be kind of cool, and I really enjoyed the Negan and Armstrong storyline in that episode, the story he tells about his brother and Negan patching him up and saving his life and stuff like that. There was some really cool stuff there, And I enjoyed as well the Dama's introduction, and I enjoyed finding out that the Croat actually is somebody that serves her, you know what I mean? It was kind of an interesting twist to the story. Now, the only thing I think was a tad rushed to this episode, and it's why I think it's my least favorite. It's not a flaw per se, because I still enjoy the scene, but I think it could have been done a little bit different, is I feel like Amaya and Tommaso's death, the two of them, they died really quickly. You know what I mean? Like, I actually like the twist in the story that it's like, oh crap, like they don't survive. They actually die down there. Like, I actually like the twist. But I find that they did it in a way where it's like you had to double check for a second. You're like, wait a minute, is Maya really dead? You know what I mean? So I don't know. It was done a little bit fast, but by no means was it a bad scene. I feel like it was done a little bit too quickly. So for that, it's my least favorite episode. You know what I mean? But it was still a phenomenal episode. It's still a 10 out of 10 for me. I love finding out that Maggie, this whole time was, set up to deliver Negan to the Croat, you know what I mean, in exchange for Herschel. We got that crazy reveal by the end of it, and yeah, really awesome episode. Number 5 is then going to be episode 3, People Are a Resource. So this episode right here is awesome. I love everything about it. You've got the Croat's introduction, like true introduction. We see the arena fight with Armstrong, where he has to dig into the guy's, like, guts and rip the friggin' key out. I mean, that was just so nasty. In addition to that, we see, of course, the conflict with Negan and Luther. Negan has to brutally kill Luther right then and there. And then we also learn about the bond between Negan and Jenny, which, seeing where that goes later on and seeing, all the development we get between Negan and Jenny, I do think this episode's objectively better than episode 5, because this episode goes somewhere a bit further than episode 5 did. This episode really does develop that bond between, Jenny and Negan. And I thought it was really good, you know what I mean? The only thing that's a little bit hard to believe about the episode, if I had to like really, really nitpick, I think Jenny getting across on that like little cooler from like that little, that little island or whatever to New York or whatever, that was hard to believe. But again, it's not a flaw because it could happen, but it's a little far fetched, you know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, this episode was phenomenal. I loved everything about it. I thought it was really, really spectacular. Number 4 is then going to be episode 2. Who's there? So I really enjoyed this episode as well. You know what I mean? We got the introduction to Amaya, we got the introduction to Tommaso, we got the introduction to Luther and their people. We had that awesome zipline scene at the beginning of the episode, which I really enjoyed. The pigeon lady, who was a funny character. Hey, I may be a little bit rusty, but I'm pretty sure that amounts to hell freaking no, you know? And it was awesome. It was an awesome episode. I, in particular, think that this episode is probably one of the most exciting action episodes of the show. We had a lot of great stuff between Croat's men and Amaya's people. And another thing that I really enjoy, and it's actually the one thing I'll say about this episode that's better than any episode this season, is that I think this episode actually has the best scene of Dead City overall. I think there are 3 episodes coming up here that are better than this episode for sure, but I think this episode has the best scene of the series, and that scene is definitely the knock knock joke. That to me is the best moment of Dead City. I don't know why, it's my favorite scene. It's so gory, it's old school Negan, it's brutal, and it's freaking iconic at this point. I must say, like, it's a line that I hear everybody quote from the show. It's absolutely phenomenal. And it was the moment that I knew that I was like, okay, this is a friggin' golden spinoff. Like, okay, this is really cool. So yeah, love that. And in terms of Jenny too, I mean, we get a little bit on her in this episode. We see the new Hilltop as well. It was a phenomenal episode, absolutely. Number 3 is then going to be the pilot, episode 1, Old Acquaintances. Now, this episode right here, I love. I love the setup with Maggie and Negan. I love their reunion as well. The scene with Maggie and that walker at the beginning of the episode was super gruesome as well. Kind of reminds me of Glenn a little bit too, which is I think what they were going for. You had Armstrong's introduction when he kills that woman just to try to find Negan. I had this like crazy bounty hunter type feel to this episode, which I really dig. And I love the overall vibe of the episode. You know, they go to New York. You've got Maggie who's going through like some PTSD about Glenn. You know, she has like nightmares and stuff. And we get overall a really cool confrontation between Maggie and Armstrong and Negan in that like, clothing, store or whatever. And I loved it all. I really did. The Croat's introduction, 20 stories, he's friggin' crazy, man. But yeah, I loved it. I loved the episode all the way through. Coming in at number 2, my second favorite episode of The Walking Dead Dead City is going to go to episode 4. So everybody wins a prize. So this episode for me was amazing. I mean, we got the Simon cameo for the first like 5-10 minutes, which was amazing. We then get to see the arena fight where they go in and Negan distracts the Croat while Maggie and them go inside of the arena and, try to, fight everybody and stuff like that, fight the Barazi and stuff. And I love it because there's a trap clearly set where we get to see them. They're in the arena, and every which way they try to go to, they can't get out. So they're trapped in there, you know what I mean? And we see some really amazing, fight scenes. Tommaso almost dies, too. I thought that was pretty intense as well. But yeah, and I love the interaction between Negan and Croat, too. When, Croat sees Negan, he's like, Negan! My father! Right? And, yeah, that was friggin' hilarious, man. Croat is somehow funny. I don't know why he's funny. But unlike some other Walking Dead villains, like Pope or something, no, he's funny for the right reason. He's friggin' intimidating as hell, and he comes off as unhinged, like in a really good way. And he's friggin' hilarious on top of that. So yeah, he's amazing. But yeah, I loved it. I love this episode, everything about it pretty much. And to be honest, it would have been my favorite. This episode had everything. You bring Stephen Ogg back in addition to that whole arena fight and the Negan and Croat interaction. I mean, honestly, you couldn't ask for a better episode. Although I think they did it, and that would be my number 1, which is going to be the season 1 finale, Dama Smo. Now, this is easily my favorite episode of Dead City. I don't know about y'all, but when I saw this episode, I had a full-on respect for this show. And the big reason why I say that is because this show is hard to do. A conflict series between Negan and Maggie. That, in writing, that sounds really bad. And I remember, Jeffrey D. Morgan and Lauren Cohen even said, like, they weren't sure about the concept of this show when they were first pitched it. And then when they read the scripts and they actually heard about what the show is about, they really, really dug it and they really enjoyed it. And now they love it. And that's the same with me. When I heard that there was a show between Maggie and Negan, I was like, oh, like, what's that going to be like? You know what I mean? But then when I see episodes like this finale, I'm just like, okay, like, I understand why they want to do this show now, I love what they do with Maggie, and I love how they act like, no, she really can't get over anything that happened. It doesn't matter how many times Negan apologizes. Doesn't matter what he does. He even trades himself in now for Herschel. It does not matter. She's not going to forget. She's not going to let it go. And the fight between the two of them was super intense. You felt the intensity in that moment. You felt the conflict really, really just, raising at an all-time high. And I thought it was absolutely spectacular. We had Jenny, her first lines in the show, Negan revealing that he killed her dad. We had the, Herschel's toe reveal with the Dama at the end. We had Croat, which was like, wanting Negan to like become like a leader again. You know what I mean? And there were so many great things. I absolutely loved it. The split screen at the end was so savage. The music was great. Yeah, this was bar none the best episode of Dead City. I don't even think there's a comparison there, to be honest. But yeah, that was a phenomenal finale. Really enjoyed it, and it definitely is, for me at least, my favorite episode of Dead City. So let me know in the comment section below, what are your favorite episodes of Dead City? Favorites to least favorites? Write those down in the comment section below. Did you enjoy Dead City? Did you enjoy the season? We'll discuss more of that in the actual season review, but I would love to hear from y'all in this video as well too. What are your least favorite to favorite episodes of Dead City? Write that down in the comment section below. So anyway, if you're new to the channel, guys, and you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos for the Walking Dead universe. Make sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead reviews on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos for Dead City. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.